Hey man, how are you? It's been a while since I made one of these videos. In the past month, lots of crazy things have happened in my own life, and I thought I'd talk about some of them because everything will come at its own time. But for now, I wanted to talk about losing someone that you love, and I mean that in the actual sense of losing them, as in them dying, or just maybe it can just be in general, whether they go away somewhere or they you lose touch with them, or but in that sense it's not necessarily losing, but when that person dies and then you lose them in this life forever. So uh I think at the beginning of June, my one of my family members was taken away from me by cancer. And this person, she fought cancer for a year. She just realized what was going on for at the like a year ago, and then she didn't make it. They found it out too late, and she didn't make it. And this person, she was a very dear person to me, and I don't say that lightly. She was somebody that I grew up with, that I can remember ever since I was so little. Like my first memories ever were with her, where some of them were with her. So she's been in my life forever now, and just to see her degrade and lose her health and lose her spirit and see her suffer the way that she did, because cancer is a fucking bitch, man. It was very difficult, and she died while still carrying hope that she could get better. And she died as a person who never complained. She never said, "Oh my God, my life is so bad. Oh my God, things are not working out for me." No, she never did that. She was always a very stoic person. She always held on to what she believed in, and she always had hope that there would be more out there for her and for everybody. And I had that hope until the day that she died. It's a very weird feeling to lose somebody that you've known for your entire life, especially when you're young. And you know, for me, 20 years is like so much, but for somebody else, it may not necessarily be so long. But for me, because this is my whole life, knowing her like this, and then just having her taken away from me like that, and it was a blow. It really made me question and wonder if God, if he does indeed exist, or if there's some divine force out there, if they actually care, because she didn't deserve to go out like that. And I oftentimes wondered if God was even there, if he even cared, if he even heard all my prayers, because I prayed for her all the time. My prayers, I would like to believe they were sincere, but they did not come true. And for a while, I held this belief that perhaps God isn't listening. This is again one of those times when you just have to understand that if you do indeed believe in God or in some divine power or something like that, then you also have to accept the fact that they know that this force, this God, knows so much more than you ever will. If you don't, then I don't know, it's just bad luck. It's a shitty part of life. And that's the end of it. But for me, it's not just that. For me, everything that has happened to her, and that my family has had and still goes through every day, it's all part of a bigger reason. One that right now we might not understand, one that right now might seem like it's fruitless, like it doesn't lead to anything. But I know that in the future it will all make sense at some point, somehow. At her funeral, I kind of made like a subconscious deal with myself that I wouldn't break. I cried before. I was messed up. I was fucked up. I told you I didn't know. I did not know what to believe. I did not know if God above was still watching, or if this was just his own sick way of making fun of me, or and everyone else and of her. But when her funeral came, I made a deal with myself that I would not cry, that I would try to be strong for myself and for my family and for everybody there. And I did something that I didn't think I would be able to do. I wrote down a speech. I think it's called the eulogy. I'm not sure. I wrote down like a little speech about my family member, and I after the whole funeral ceremony was ended, they let they let me read this, and I sat there in front of all these people, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, all these people that I've known for so long and that I hold in such high regards. And I was in a church, and I was reading this in a church, and I was looking around and I saw everything around me, and I I read this speech that I had. I I described this family member that passed, how she was and how loving and how amazing she was as a human being, and I put this line in there: memento mori. Remember death. Remember that it's gonna happen, and don't face it with sadness. Face it with an open mind, with a clear heart, with a clear soul, face it with honor, and understand that it's bound to happen, and why be scared of it? If it's gonna happen anyway, then why must we be scared of it? Why must we see it as a horrible, horrible, terrifying thing, when in the end it's part of life? And I don't know how much I believe that even myself, because I personally am terrified of death. But in that moment, I felt like I had a clear mind. And I guess what I'm all trying to get to is, in all these 8 minutes that I've passed already, sorry for wasting your time, is that you want to be, or at least I want to be, and I guess in this way I managed to prove that in a way, that you want to be strong for the ones you love, even when you feel like breaking yourself. I'm not saying that I'm an example. I'm not giving myself as a great example. I'm just saying what I went through. And that for me, this was kind of a little bit of proof that I am who I say I am. That I'm not just somebody that says, that they do what they have to do and then just goes around and fucks off. No, I felt like this is what I needed to do. I never gave a speech before. This was the first time in my life that I ever wrote down a speech and went down in front of a bunch of people, and actually it was, the first time I actually ever gave a speech, and it was at this family member's funeral. While I was holding back tears, and I was seeing my family in not great spirits. But this quote, or I don't know, this idea from Jordan Peterson comes up in my mind all the time when I think about this, and it says something along the lines of that you want to be the kind of person that people can cry on their shoulder, or they can hang on to, they can be comforted by at your own father's funeral. So, instead of being part of the people who need all this consolation and who are destroyed, and rightfully so. Even at your own father's funeral, you can be the kind of person that comforts them, that says, you know what, I'm here for you. And you are the strong pillar, the strong stepping stone that they can find some sort of equilibrium on, that they can find some sort of place where they can rest even for a moment. you know and in a way, I believe that's what I did, and that makes me proud of myself, to be able to be the person out there who takes care of the ones he loves. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And I felt like in that moment that's what I did. I was strong, and I just read out a few words on a piece of paper, but to me it was more than that. To me it was proving that I was there. It proved to me that I was there, and that I was truly, truly there. And I'm reading this book by Seneca, this ancient philosopher, and there's a small passage in which he says something along the lines of, as one unborn child lives in the mother's womb, in her belly, I guess, for 9 months, and in that time the baby develops itself so that when it does come into this world, it can breathe air, and it can live, it can survive, and it can live, and it can thrive in this new world that it is now a part of after 9 months. Just the same is life in itself and death. Right now, we are in this process of preparing ourselves for something greater that comes after death. Basically, we're in the womb right now, but this womb is not the period that we live here and that we develop ourselves. It's not 9 months. It's how many years we live. And once we die, we move into this different reality, this different world, this different kind of existence, which maybe we cannot even comprehend. Because how can you even comprehend something when you're in the womb and you see everything that's here, and when you're alive, it's fucking crazy. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and maybe it's the same with death. So maybe, that's what life and death are. I don't know. Just an interesting idea that I thought about. And I thought it was worth noting. Don't see death as a horrible, horrible thing. See it as a part of life. See it as something that, as shitty as it sounds, is absolutely inevitable. And the more that you think about it, the more that you understand it, the more that you internalize it and realize it will happen. And it can happen every day. It can happen at any moment and every day. No matter who you are, no matter where you grew up, no matter where you come from, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you've done in your life, no matter how much you try to hold on to your health, to everything, it may come. And understanding that and internalizing it is, in my opinion, a way to expose yourself to it prematurely, so that when it does come onto you, it is not as scary. It's in a way just like exposure therapy. You're scared of something, you expose yourself little by little to it until you can actually, just face the thing head on, and you're no longer scared. Or you are scared, but you can manage that fear and, be brave, and that's what being brave means. Maybe we can do the same with death. Maybe if we put ourselves in the position where we realize that every time we wake up, we might not be able to go back to sleep again. Every time that we go back to sleep, we might never wake up. This might be the last time you ever sit your head on a pillow and close your eyes and drift into nothingness. Every time that you say goodbye to your parents after they go to work, or you say goodbye to your girlfriend or to your grandparents or to anybody, that might be the last time you ever talk to them. The last time I ever spoke to my aunt, who passed away, it was when I was helping her with some things when she was kind of at the end, and she was feeling very bad. She wasn't feeling great. She had all these pains and everything, and I needed to be there to help her out. I don't know, to just drive her around from the hospital to her house and stuff like that. And I only did it like 2 times, but the last time I saw her, I drove her back and I said, bye bye. Take care of yourself. Actually, that wasn't the last time. That was pretty much the last time. But after that, I was walking to my car after school one day, and I was getting ready to go back home. And I remembered that my aunt, she was in the state, and I remembered these past experiences with her, and I called her to see if she needed my help, if she needed me to drive her somewhere, and I called her, and she said, no, no, thank you very much, I appreciate that. And then before hanging up, she said, I love you, and I said, I love you too. That was the first and the last time we ever said that to each other, because I don't know, we're just not really those kinds of people, We're not those kinds of people that always tell each other that we loved each other and how much we appreciate each other. We just kind of know, you know. We've always known, and I've never doubted it. I've never doubted that they love me unconditionally, because I feel the same towards them. So she told me this, and like, okay, and I said it back, and I didn't really think that much about it. And a few days later, I found out she died. You know, it's a it's a tough situation to be a part of for anybody that goes through it out there. I've had people in my life, not that I'm very close with, but who have went through significantly worse things, where they've lost one of their parents, who they were close to, who I even met myself, and you know, I cannot even imagine how that feels. I lost a family member that was close to me, but not my parents, you know. And it must be very, very difficult. And I don't know. I just felt like talking about this in a way, and just giving out some ideas, I guess, on perhaps trying to be strong for yourself and for other people around you. I did cry a bunch. I did have my own way to grieve, and I believe it's still not over, because when I still think about it, I still get emotional in a way that I wasn't before. And but in that very moment, for those very few hours that I was there at that funeral, I found the strength within myself to be there for my family, for everybody there. And I found that strength, and I did something that I never thought I would do, and I did it with such a clear mind that I just can't even believe in myself. I've never had a speech. I've never taken a speech. Even when I had to do projects in school, and I would just go in front of my class and I would talk about some random shit, I was like, my heart was beating like this. I was so nervous. But this time, my mind was so clear, I just felt like it was the right thing to do. And I that just showed me how it feels to do the right thing. When you do the right thing in your life, it might be scary, it might be terrifying, but in the end, you know it's the right thing to do. And in that moment, I knew it was the right thing for me to do. It was the right thing for me to instill some love, some care, some warmth, some order in such a chaotic time. You know, I'm not saying that it was, oh my God, look at me, I'm such a great person for saying that, for doing that, but it just felt, for me, it just felt like a really important thing. And I hope, I think it was also important for some other people there. And that makes me happy. And I know that if my aunt would have seen me there, and if she would have, I don't know, been able to somehow hear my words and to see me, she would have been proud of me. And I guess that goes for anybody out there who loses someone that they love. Be strong. Take your time and try your best to be as supportive and as caring and as strong as you can be for your loved ones. Because whatever you're going through, they're going through that and possibly a lot more. You can just never know. And you know, in that moment, I had this clear space of mind, this clear, I don't know, vision of what I needed to do, and it made me proud of who I am. Take care of yourself, man. I'm not gonna make this any longer than it has to be. Just feels like I've been ranting for 23 minutes, but hopefully you find something valuable in this. Be strong for your loved ones. Be strong for yourself. Take your time to grieve, but do it in a way where you can still be strong for those you love. Do it in a way where you can still be a pillar of support, a stepping stone, I don't know, a path that people can walk on towards their own peace of mind. And remember that maybe this life is just it's another womb for something else, for a different type of existence. And everything that we're doing here is solely for that purpose. So that when we get born into this new existence, we are prepared for it and we can evolve and we can thrive, just as we have here. Take care of yourself, man. Wish you all the best and never stop. Take care.